Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is John, Reliable Roof and Remodeling. We're doing a series of videos on hail claims with your insurance company. We're working a large hailstorm in Owensboro, Kentucky, and we've had a lot of the same questions over and over again. So this is to help our customers, along with anybody else with any issues that you may be having throughout the process of the claim. So we've covered from the very beginning of the storm to your adjuster, to inspections with your contractor, to receiving your check, to deductible. We're in the sixth video. And this video is you've went all the way through the process and now everything's good to go and you are in what we call production, meaning the work is ready to be done or it's starting and what you can expect. So you've received your check. Or a combination if the contractor helped you file your claim, you received a check with your name on it, you received a check with yours and the contractor's name, or just the contractor. It varies by insurance company. I won't get into the weeds with that. That's something you can review with your agent or whoever your claim specialist is. What we're going to talk about today is the process of production and how that works. So you will be told, hopefully if you're working with a local contractor, I've heard some stories from out of town that you don't have a choice on what you get as far as your shingles, your gutters, your siding, your things of that nature. You do. You should be able to have a list of materials within the price limitations of what the insurance company is paying for, meaning you should be able to select color. Sometimes you're going to be able to select sheen or type of siding depending on what allotment was given for your repair costs. And that's when somebody that represents the contractor will sit down with you or go over with you by phone what you want. Some of you are going to be simple. You just want to put it back the way it was before, and that's fine. But you do have the ability in some cases to change colors if it's within the same cost structure of what your allotment was from your adjuster and your insurance company. So at that point, you'll sit down with them, go over what you're wanting, color-wise, profile description, whatever it may be, and then those materials will begin to be ordered. So at that point, you should get a production date, meaning a projected start date on your actual project. And it varies from contractor to contractor. Most or a lot of contractors will either collect a portion or part of, if you've watched the previous videos, that ACV check that you're receiving to start. And what that's going to cover is material, initial labor, things of that nature. In most cases, a roof is going to be done within a day or 2 days, so it's going to go really quick. So that's something that's most of the time done. They will collect that amount up front on the day of production or right before the production as a deposit, and then after the work is done, they will collect that remaining balance that is left, that is from your RCV check. And you're going to have some people that have made enhancements above and beyond what the insurance is paying, so you'll pay some additional money. So some people maybe changed a profile for siding or fix something that wasn't damaged. They change it to a different color, or something that wasn't damaged by the storm they replaced. So you'll be due that to your contractor at the end. So to reiterate on that, most before you start, a lot of times there's going to be a deposit that will be the value of that first ACV check that you will get. And it's going to vary by contractor, what you're going to do there. The key part about it is not necessarily releasing the money, but it's with a contractor that you trust, somebody that's preferably local. And I know in the situation of these large storms, you're going to experience contractors that you may believe to be local, but that are not actually from that town. So there's a couple ways to check. You can call and get references from things that they've done locally, or for instance, like ours, our Facebook page has houses that we've remodeled in Owensboro, kitchens, bath, things of that nature, roofs that we've done in Owensboro, where you can see that. Now, you're wanting, if you do that, sometimes an out-of-town company will start immediately as they start going into production. They'll start immediately posting things from that city, but you'll want to kind of rewind back a little bit from before the storm, and that will allow you to see things that were done and where they were at prior to that. So easiest thing to remember is, there's reputable roofers and gutting, siding installers locally, and there's some out of town as well. And in this particular storm, the storm is so big, there will be people that use roofers and companies that are from out of town, but you want to make sure that they are reputable and that you're not going to have issues. So that's something, talk to your local companies. That's going to help out with you. Talk to friends and family that have had roofs put on, of people that are there locally or have had remodel work done, and that's going to help you out quite a bit as well. So again, the way that process worked, we kind of went through that when you go into production. Once that's done, within those couple of days of when it's completed, you will pay out your final amount that will be billed to the insurance company for your RCV, which is your replacement cost value. That's the depreciation amount that was left over if you've watched our other videos and you know how to work that. And your work is done. So where it comes into play with the local company, if you have any warranty work, you have anything that needs to be done after the roof has been replaced, you want somebody local that can come back and replace that or work on it very quickly. A lot of times what the out of town will say is we are backed by the material manufacturer, and that's how you're going to get your warranty. You have to think about that. It's like saying if you bought a car from a dealer that was nowhere around, yes, you're backed by the warranty of that car, but that dealer is nowhere near your city. So that happens with best examples like Tesla and things like that. People in rural areas are buying Teslas, but there's not a Tesla service center anywhere close. So you have to be aware of that if you're using somebody that is set up in town for the period of the storm, which I've seen some of the out-of-town roofing companies, they're buying office space. They're converting their numbers over to have it to be local, but they're leasing that for a period of time. And after the storm is done and after all their work is completed, they will leave town. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't use an out-of-town company, but you just have to be aware that you want somebody that's going to be able to respond to your immediate needs locally once the storm has passed. And this will go on some time. We'll be looking in the Owensboro area for the next a storm of this size, the next couple of years probably before it's all said and done. So just be wary of that. Pay attention. Talk to people around you and make sure you have somebody that represents from the company that you can identify with, and they're answering your questions very straightforward. They're not delaying or giving you any type of nonsense that you think may be an issue. If you have any questions, comment down below. As always, we're doing free inspections. You can reach out to us on Facebook or by the phone numbers, and we hope to see you on another video. Stay safe.